Welcome back to Verum Health Podcast, where every episode helps you stay strong, independent, and sharp as you age. I'm Dr. Samuel Harrison, and after 40 years in neuromuscular and geriatric medicine, I've learned that the most painful problems often have the simplest solutions hiding right beneath the surface. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever jerked awake in the middle of the night with your calf muscle locked in a vice grip? That feeling where you're not sure if you want to scream, cry, or just accept that this is your life now. If you've nodded yes to that question, you're not alone. In fact, studies show that more than half of Americans over 60 experience regular nighttime leg cramps. That's 1 out of every 2 people sitting in your book club, your church, your family dinner table tonight. What if I told you that what you thought was just part of aging might actually be a sign that your circulation is sending you a distress signal? Let me tell you about Margaret Chen. She's 67 years old, a retired librarian from Portland, Oregon, and for the past 2 years she's been waking up absolutely screaming at exactly 3 in the morning. Not 2:45, not 3:15, 3 o'clock sharp, like clockwork. Her husband would wake up startled, her small dog would jump off the bed, and Margaret would be there gripping her calf, tears running down her face, wondering why her own body seemed to be turning against her. Margaret had done everything right. She'd seen her doctor. She'd taken potassium supplements. She'd tried magnesium. She'd stretched before bed. She'd massaged her legs. She'd elevated them on regular pillows. She'd cut back on sodium. She'd bought the expensive leg compression wraps advertised on television. And yet, night after night, that 3 o'clock visitor kept showing up. Now here's where most people get stuck in a frustrating cycle of thinking. Margaret assumed her leg cramps were caused by her type 2 diabetes. After all, that's what her initial doctor mentioned in passing. She figured it was just one more thing her body was going to betray her with. She even told herself that maybe she was getting old faster than her friends. Some nights she'd lie in bed at 2:30, already tense, already waiting for the pain to come. Can you imagine living like that, dreading your own sleep? But here's a myth we need to shatter right now. Leg cramps in seniors are rarely caused by simple things like potassium deficiency or dehydration alone. And they're definitely not just something you have to accept as the price of aging. I've worked with thousands of patients just like Margaret, and I can tell you with complete confidence that there's almost always a reason, a cause, something your body is trying to tell you. Some seniors think their cramps come from sleeping the wrong way, so they start twisting themselves into origami every night. Others blame their medications. Still others convince themselves that it's all in their head, that if they just stop worrying about it, it will go away. And some, unfortunately, just give up entirely and accept the midnight screaming as their new normal. But what if I told you that Margaret's 3 o'clock timing wasn't random at all? What if that exact time meant something very specific about what's happening inside her body while she sleeps? What if the real culprit wasn't her legs at all, but her circulation? That's the question that changed everything for Margaret. Because when I ran some advanced circulation tests with her, we discovered something fascinating. During sleep, blood flow to our extremities naturally decreases, not a little bit, We're talking about a drop of 15 to 20%. For someone with healthy circulation, that's no problem. Their body compensates beautifully. But for someone like Margaret, who had arterial narrowing from decades of living with diabetes plus the natural aging of her blood vessels, well, that 15 to 20% drop created what I call a perfect storm. Imagine trying to water a garden with a hose that's already half clogged. Now imagine turning down the water pressure even more at night. What happens? The plants don't get enough water, they wilt, they seize up, they suffer. That's essentially what was happening to Margaret's leg muscles every single night at 3 in the morning. They weren't getting enough oxygen-rich blood, so they were going into involuntary contractions. Her muscles were literally crying out for oxygen. And that 3 o'clock timing, that's the moment in your sleep cycle when your circulation naturally hits its lowest point. It's biology, it's physics, it's actually quite elegant in a terrible way. Now I know what you might be thinking. You might be telling yourself that this doesn't apply to you, that your cramps are different, that your situation is unique. But before you click away, I want you to ask yourself this: do you wake up with cold feet? Have you noticed any slow healing wounds, any numbness or tingling, any feeling that your legs just don't have the same energy they used to? Because if you answered yes to any of those questions, your legs might be whispering the same message that Margaret's were screaming, so stay with me. Because what we discovered about Margaret's circulation problem led to a solution that seems almost too simple. And when she implemented it, something remarkable happened. Margaret stopped waking up at 3 in the morning. Not occasionally, not sometimes, completely. If you've ever experienced that 3 a.m. leg cramp visitor, comment yes right now and subscribe to Wisdom Health for free daily tips that can transform your nights from painful to peaceful. This next section is going to change the way you understand your body's signals. Last week, after publishing our episode on midnight leg cramps, I received a letter from Margaret herself. She wanted to share more than statistics, more than lists of symptoms. She wanted everyone listening, every senior in every corner of America, to understand that these cramps aren't just a fleeting discomfort. They're a daily reminder that our bodies, no matter how strong or resilient, ask for care, attention, and sometimes a little extra help. Let me paint a vivid picture for you. On a bright Saturday morning in Portland, Margaret starts her day just like any other grandmother. The aroma of coffee fills her kitchen. Her granddaughter Lily bounces in wearing her soccer gear. Margaret plans to spend the day watching Little League, tending her garden, maybe a stroll to the public library. But underneath that cheerful routine, she's carrying a silent dread. That gnawing ache in her leg tells her she might not make it through the afternoon without pause, without another sharp pain pulling her back to reality. Margaret's daughter drops off Lily a quick goodbye in the driveway. What Lily doesn't know is that Margaret has already given up on wearing her favorite gardening boots. She switched to soft slippers, something her podiatrist recommended to avoid pressure points. The independence she enjoyed for almost 70 years now feels slightly out of reach. Each cramp, especially after rising from a chair or reaching for a watering can, interrupts those moments of freedom. Imagine being eager to join family on a walk at the nearby rose garden, but pacing yourself so carefully, counting your steps, planning your route, staying near benches for sudden rests. For seniors like Margaret, these cramps become not just a nighttime torment, but a daytime shadow. They shape how she chooses her shoes, which outing she accepts, and whether she feels confident leading a story time at the local library. That's not just Margaret's story. Take Mr. James, a 73-year-old retired freight worker from Texas. He built his life hauling produce from farm to market. Now he spends weekends fishing with his grandchildren. Or at least he used to. He's noticed those cramps creep up not just after long drives, but while he sits idly by the lake. "It's not fair," he told me. "I worked hard, I ate right, I don't smoke. But still these cramps are like a thief in the night stealing my time." Mr. James began skipping family barbecues, declining round trips to see friends, all because of the pain that might surface without warning. For many seniors, especially those of us who grew up believing that hard work and healthy eating were enough, these cramps feel like a personal betrayal. The generation that powered American progress during the 1950s and 60s, men and women who lived through civil rights marches, moon landings, and digital revolutions, they now face a stubborn, invisible enemy that makes everything just a little bit harder. Ask anyone whose independence is sacred and they'll tell you the real pain comes not from the cramp itself, but from the uncertainty. Will it strike during a precious moment with friends? Will it embarrass them in public? Will it silently force them to give up a favorite hobby, a beloved shortcut, a piece of their social life? That's what Margaret's story reveals. Night after night, she faced not just physical pain, but the emotional weight of feeling outpaced, of not being able to keep up. For American seniors, leg cramps threaten more than comfort. They sneak into family moments. Gardening afternoons, quiet library visits, even joyful walks with neighbors. The strongest among us feel this daily test of resilience. Now stay tuned and listen closely. Because there's more to the story, a deeper scientific explanation about why these cramps target us in the quiet hours, and what it really means for our bodies, our hearts, and our independence. The next section will unlock the science behind Margaret's midnight struggle and reveal how this challenge can be transformed into an opportunity for strength, wisdom, and freedom. Before we jump into the science, share your story in the comments. Are you like Margaret or Mr. James? Where do your cramps strike at night, in the garden or somewhere else? Tell us your city, your favorite family activity, or any tip that's worked for you. And if you're listening in, subscribe to Wisdom Health so you never miss an episode that could change your daily life. I promise the science behind this will surprise you. Let's keep going. If you're still with me, thank you for sharing your stories and your courage. Margaret's journey. Mr. James's frustration and countless others remind us just why finding the real causes matters so much. Let's look under the hood, where medicine meets everyday life, and reveal what's really happening inside our bodies. You might be surprised to hear that muscle cramps, especially those that strike at night, are a classic signal of what we call nocturnal hypoperfusion. That's a fancy way of saying your muscles aren't getting enough oxygen-rich blood while you sleep. This isn't just theory. University of Michigan researchers in a landmark 2019 study found that blood flow to the legs drops up to 20% when we drift into deep sleep. For those with diabetes, narrowed arteries, or even just more years behind them than ahead, this number can be even higher. Picture this. The heart slows, the blood pressure dips as you move through REM cycles, and feet especially become chilly or numb. During the day, your heart is working hard, but come nighttime, circulation heads for a low. Those tight muscles, like the ones in Margaret's calf, are starving for oxygen. Instead of getting what they need, they're stuck waiting for a delivery truck that's trapped in traffic. No package arrives and they start protesting, cramping, seizing up, sending that unforgettable pain at 3 in the morning. You might wonder, why is 3 a.m. the magic hour? In studies published by the Journal of Sleep Medicine in 2020, researchers mapped circulation patterns in older adults. They discovered that the steepest drop in peripheral blood flow occurs between 2 and 4 a.m., with 3 being the tipping point for most of us over 60. It's not coincidence, it's biology, a perfect storm of slower heart rate, relaxed muscles, and blood vessels that no longer bounce back like they did at 20. Here's something else you may have heard: that leg cramps mean you're low in potassium or magnesium. While electrolyte imbalances can play a role, the heart of the story for older adults is circulation. Muscles need a precise balance of oxygen, calcium, and nerve signals. When blood slows down, calcium builds up, nerves get cranky, and muscles clamp shut, refusing to let go until you leap out of bed and massage away the pain. For Mr. James, who fished and hauled and rarely sat still, years of micro damage to tiny leg arteries meant they just couldn't keep up during sleep. For Margaret, diabetes thickened her blood and narrowed her vessels. In both, aging vessels lost their springiness, the ability to widen and pump blood quickly after hours of rest. You're not powerless here. Scientists at Cleveland Clinic published findings in 2022. Showing that seniors who do 3 minutes of ankle pumping before bed increase blood flow by up to 25%. Simple motions: flexing, pointing, rotating, prime. The vessels keep blood moving and may eliminate cramps entirely. None of these require special equipment, just the willingness to pause, breathe, and take care. There's more. Compression socks recommended with a doctor's blessing gently squeeze the legs, improving venous return during sleep. Wedge pillows 6 to 8 inches of elevation help gravity do its part, making it easier for blood to reach your muscles at the time they need it most. Small daily changes using modern research and old-fashioned wisdom can change the pattern for you, as they did for Margaret. Let's not forget sleep position. Side sleepers, beware of pointing toes. This position stretches calf muscles and can cut off circulation further. Experts in geriatric neurology suggest sleeping with knees slightly bent, ankles supported. Even how you rest matters. Legs extended too straight or toes pointed invite cramps into the equation. But this is only half the truth. Why do some people suffer nightly while others sleep soundly? What hidden factors separate those who struggle from those who overcome? Stay with me, because in the next section we'll go beyond biology to real solutions and practical community wisdom. Before that, if any of this science speaks to you, share your routine in the comments. Have you tried any morning stretches, changed your sleep position, or picked up compression socks? Poll time. Do you cramp more at night after sitting or after gardening? Your vote helps us build future episodes that matter. Trust me, the best advice is yet to come. Let's unravel the rest of this mystery together. Think about this for a moment. Margaret's struggle is not an isolated story. It echoes across kitchens, living rooms, and retirement communities nationwide. The truth is, leg cramps aren't just a midnight inconvenience or a private frustration. They are a quiet epidemic. On any given night, more than 20 million American seniors will be jolted awake by these pains, sometimes quietly, sometimes with desperate cries for help. When you watch a grandchild's soccer match or share a holiday dinner, you'd never guess how many smiles hide the memory of those lost nights. At church services, coffee shops, community centers, you'll find friends moving gingerly, subtly rubbing their calves, swapping remedies like secrets passed down through generations. Some brag about old remedies: a teaspoon of mustard before bed, a splash of tonic water, but most just cope, crossing fingers and hoping for a peaceful sleep. This isn't just about sleepless nights. Nighttime leg cramps cost Americans billions each year in lost hours, missed appointments, and even falls. Emergency rooms see a steady stream of seniors who tried to jump out of bed to stretch away the pain, only to lose their balance, risking hip fractures or head injuries. Family caregivers quietly adapt evening routines, keeping the house lit, leaving water by the bed, staying within earshot just in case. Healthcare systems feel the weight. Doctors field late-night phone calls, pharmacies fill prescriptions for muscle relaxants, and insurance companies approve endless rounds of physical therapy, all trying to patch a problem that could often be prevented with simple adjustments at home. Nationwide, clinical researchers are pushing for better education, more focus on circulation, smarter sleep tips, community workshops on leg health. But here's the heart of it. For many American seniors, especially those living alone, even asking for help feels like an uphill climb. We're a proud generation raised on self-reliance, yet more than ever, connection and practical wisdom make a real difference. Sometimes that connection is as simple as a friend sharing a pillow tip or a neighbor recommending a healthy recipe rich in leafy greens, beans, and nuts, foods that support healthy blood vessels and reduce cramping risk. Imagine a potluck table at a senior center in Ohio, half the dishes designed not just for flavor but to keep legs healthy. Imagine a group in California trading homemade wedge pillows. A retired nurse from Wisconsin organizing ankle pump circles before bingo night. Each act, large or small, ripples outward, slowly turning a stubborn problem into a shared solution. The impact is immense, but so is the power of prevention. By paying attention to circulation, sleep, posture, and simple nutrition, communities have started to see fewer late-night emergencies, better energy during the day, and a renewed sense of independence. Next, stay with me because I'll break down the precise steps seniors can take at home tonight to reclaim restful sleep and vibrant mornings. How you move, how you eat, and how you understand your body really can change everything. And before we go, join our mini challenge. Try talking about leg cramps with one friend this week. Share your favorite tip or story in the comments and let us know how your community supports healthy aging. Your insight just might help someone else find relief. There's practical wisdom ahead. Make sure to stay tuned. Let me be direct with you. Everything we've talked about, Margaret's midnight screams, Mr. James's lost fishing trips, the 20% drop in circulation, all of it points to one powerful truth. Your leg cramps are not your destiny. They are a signal, and signals can be answered. Think of your circulatory system like a river. When it flows freely, life thrives along its banks. When it slows, stagnates, or gets blocked, everything downstream suffers. Our job now is to get that river moving again, especially during the hours when your body needs it most. Over my 4 decades in geriatric medicine, I've watched thousands of seniors transform their nighttime experience with 3 foundational shifts. Not expensive treatments, not complicated regimens, just smart science-backed changes that respect your body's biology and your lifestyle. The first pillar is elevation and position. Remember when we talked about that 6 to 8 inch wedge? This isn't luxury, it's engineering. When your legs rest higher than your heart while you sleep, gravity becomes your ally instead of your opponent. Blood flows down more easily. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Muscles receive steady oxygen. A proper wedge pillow, not stacked regular pillows that shift and flatten, keeps this angle constant all night. Margaret switched to a specialized leg elevation wedge, and within 3 nights she noticed the difference. Here's how to do it right. Place the wedge under your calves and feet, ensuring your knees remain slightly bent, never locked straight. Your legs should feel cradled, not stretched. If a wedge feels too steep at first, start with a 4-inch elevation and gradually increase. Your body adapts in about a week. The second pillar is the bedside ankle pump. This is non-negotiable, and I want you to understand why. 3 minutes of gentle ankle movement before sleep primes your circulatory system. You're essentially warming up your blood vessels, increasing blood flow, and telling your muscles they're about to get the oxygen they need. Do this every single night without fail. Here's the routine. Sit on the edge of your bed, feet flat on the floor. Point your toes away from your body, then flex them back toward your shins. Complete 1 full point and flex. That's 1 repetition. Do 20 repetitions, slowly, deliberately feeling the muscles in your calf engage. Then rotate your ankles in slow circles, 10 rotations each direction. The entire routine takes 3 minutes. Mr. James does this while listening to the news. Margaret pairs it with her evening tea. Make it a ritual, something as natural as brushing your teeth. Why does this work so powerfully? When you pump your ankles, you're using the calf muscle as a secondary heart. That muscle contraction pushes blood back up toward your main heart, improving overall circulation. By doing this right before sleep, you flood your legs with oxygen-rich blood just as your body is about to enter its lowest circulation phase. It's like filling the tank before a long drive. The third pillar is sleep position awareness. This seems simple, but it's transformative. Side sleepers, I'm talking to you especially. Never sleep with your toes pointed. This stretches your calf muscles and restricts blood flow. Instead, when lying on your side, keep your knees slightly bent and your feet in a neutral position, not flexed, not pointed. Think of standing normally, then freezing that position while you sleep. Back sleepers, you have an advantage, but there's still a trap. Don't let your legs stretch fully straight, and don't put a regular pillow under your knees that might create a pressure point. Instead, use that wedge we talked about or a low supportive cushion that keeps knees gently bent without restricting blood flow. The fourth pillar is compression support. If your doctor approves compression socks with 15 to 20 millimeters of mercury pressure can be game-changing. These aren't the old-fashioned support hose your grandmother wore. Modern compression socks are stylish, comfortable, and specifically designed to squeeze your legs, gently pushing blood upward and reducing that stagnant feeling that triggers cramps. Margaret wears hers during the day when gardening and on nights when she feels tension building. Mr. James swears by them on fishing days. Now let me weave in nutrition, the fifth pillar, often overlooked but absolutely critical. Your blood vessels need specific nutrients to stay flexible and strong. Magnesium helps muscles relax. Potassium supports nerve signals. Calcium works with magnesium in muscle contraction. But here's what most people miss: the source matters enormously. Leafy greens like spinach and kale are magnesium powerhouses. A handful of almonds or pumpkin seeds provides both magnesium and potassium. Beans, black beans, kidney beans, lentils are nutritional gold for seniors. A simple evening routine might include a small bowl of homemade vegetable soup with beans, a side salad with olive oil, or a smoothie blending Greek yogurt with spinach and berries. Margaret started making a Tuesday night bean and vegetable stew. Mr. James adds extra greens to his breakfast omelet. The sixth pillar is hydration, but with a twist. Don't just drink water randomly throughout the day. Drink consistently, a glass upon waking, one with lunch, one mid-afternoon, and one with dinner. This keeps your blood volume steady and your circulation flowing. However, taper off about 2 hours before bed to avoid nighttime bathroom trips that interrupt sleep and restart your circulation cycle. Your action checklist for tonight and beyond. First, assess your bed setup. Do you have proper leg elevation? If not, order a wedge pillow today. Second, commit to the 3-minute ankle pump routine starting this evening. Third, evaluate your sleep position and adjust if needed. Fourth, check with your doctor about compression socks. Fifth, add one circulation-supporting food to your next grocery list. Sixth, drink a glass of water with breakfast tomorrow morning. Now I must speak directly about safety. If you have severe arterial disease, if your legs swell dramatically, if you experience skin changes like redness or warmth, if numbness spreads or doesn't improve, stop home remedies and call your doctor immediately. These could signal deep vein thrombosis or other serious conditions requiring professional care. Compression socks are not for everyone. Pregnant women, those with certain skin conditions, or anyone with severe circulation issues should get doctor approval first. For diabetics like Margaret, the stakes are higher. Leg cramps in diabetics can mask nerve damage or arterial problems. She got advanced circulation testing before starting any new routine. You should too. Schedule a simple vascular ultrasound if you haven't had one in the past 2 years. It takes 20 minutes and tells you exactly what you're working with. Here's what transforms people like Margaret and Mr. James from victims of cramps to victors over them. It's not waiting for a magic pill. It's understanding their body's signal, respecting the science, and taking consistent action. Margaret implemented all 6 pillars. Within 2 weeks, she noticed deeper sleep. Within 4 weeks, the 3 a.m. visitor stopped calling. Within 8 weeks, she was leading story time again, walking with her granddaughter, tending her garden without that gnawing fear. And here's the beautiful part. She didn't just recover her nights. She regained her confidence. She became the kind of person who walks into a room and radiates not pain but possibility. Your transformation starts now. Tonight you'll do your ankle pumps. You'll adjust your sleep position. You'll fill that water glass. These small acts are not insignificant. They're you telling your body, I hear you, I respect you, and I'm going to take care of you. Remember when we started, I asked you to imagine Margaret jolting awake at exactly 3 a.m, her calf locked in a vice grip. Her husband startled, her dog jumping off the bed. Picture that same bedroom now, 8 weeks later. 3 o'clock arrives silently. Margaret sleeps peacefully. Her legs are elevated on that wedge pillow, her muscles bathed in steady oxygen-rich blood. Her ankle pumps from the night before have done their job. She stirs occasionally, but there's no scream, no pain, no midnight visitor. She wakes naturally at 6:30, refreshed, ready to embrace her day. That transformation isn't fantasy. It's exactly what happens when you understand your body's signals and respond with intention and science-backed wisdom. Margaret told me something profound recently. She said, Dr. Harrison, these leg cramps taught me something unexpected. They forced me to slow down, to pay attention, to stop taking my body for granted. And in solving them, I didn't just get better sleep. I got my life back. Think about that. Sometimes our greatest obstacles become our greatest teachers. Mr. James, the retired freight worker from Texas, is back on the water with his grandchildren every weekend. He still remembers the frustration, the helplessness, the anger at his own body. But he also remembers the moment he realized those cramps weren't a life sentence, they were a signal he could finally answer. Now, when his friends complain about their midnight wake-up calls, he doesn't just sympathize. He shares what he knows. He's becoming an informal ambassador for leg health in his community. This is what I've witnessed over 4 decades. People don't just recover from physical ailments, they evolve. They become wiser. They become stronger, not just in body, but in spirit. They understand in a deeper way what it means to take responsibility for their own health. And when they do, they inspire everyone around them. Your freedom is waiting on the other side of tonight. When you implement these 6 pillars, elevation, ankle pumps, sleep position, compression, support, nutrition, and hydration, you're not just treating a symptom. You're reclaiming independence. You're saying yes to gardening afternoons, yes to family walks, yes to restful nights, yes to waking up as yourself, not as someone defined by pain. The question is simple. Are you ready? Because I know you are. Seniors who have the courage to listen to a full podcast about leg health, who are willing to learn the science, who are ready to take action. Those are people who refuse to settle. Those are people like Margaret and Mr. James. Those are people exactly like you. Here's what I want you to do starting right now. In the next hour, take 3 concrete steps. First, order that wedge pillow if you don't have one. It doesn't need to be expensive. A good one costs less than a restaurant dinner. Second, set a reminder on your phone for tonight, 7 o'clock. That's your ankle pump time. 3 minutes. Every night. Make it as routine as brushing your teeth. Third, text or call one friend and tell them what you learned today. Speak it out loud. Make your intention real. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, notice how your legs feel. Are they fresher? More energized? Make a note. Keep tracking. Within 2 weeks, you'll have data that proves this works. Within 4 weeks, you'll be the one telling your friends about the miracle of proper elevation and ankle pumps. If you try these techniques and notice no improvement after 3 weeks, schedule an appointment with your doctor. Mention advanced circulation testing. There might be something deeper: arterial disease, nerve damage, or medication interactions that requires professional intervention. Don't tough it out in silence. You deserve answers. You deserve freedom from pain. And here's something I want you to remember on the nights when you're tempted to skip your ankle pumps or when you're tired and want to sleep in your old position. Picture Margaret's face that morning when she realized 3 o'clock had passed and she'd slept peacefully. Picture Mr. James standing waist-deep in a Texas lake, his granddaughter laughing beside him. Picture yourself strong and confident doing the things you love without that constant low-grade fear of pain. That's not someone else's story. That's your story waiting to happen. Before you go, I need to ask for your help. Like this video if it gave you hope or practical tools you can use tonight. Comment below and tell us your story. Where do your leg cramps strike? What's one activity you miss because of them? Are you in a small town or a big city? Your comments help us build a community of people supporting each other, learning from each other, aging stronger together. And please subscribe to Wisdom Health. Hit that bell icon so you never miss an episode. Next week, we're diving into the 5-minute circulation test you can do at home right now. No doctor's office, no expensive equipment, just you and knowledge that could change everything. The next secret might change your life forever. Make sure you're here when we reveal it. Until then, take care of those legs, take care of yourself, and remember you're not alone in this journey. I'm Dr. Samuel Harrison, and this has been Verum Health Podcast. Thank you for staying with us. Good night and sleep well.